So, this is a bus, that's a bus, 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 bus. Every row of video input sources. Typically, to the far left on most switchers, what do they usually have? What's typically to the far left? Black. So, all the way up and down, black, 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 black. Then you usually start off with your camera sources, then other video sources, your tape decks, computers, character generators, network, things like that. Okay, this is a Grass Valley switcher. This is a Grass Valley 250 or 2.5 ME switcher. ME stands for what? William Harris. Who can tell me what ME stands for? Mixed Effects Bank. Mixed Effects. Okay, so we brought in this word bank. What is a bank? Two buses. So this is a bank, there's a bank, and there's a bank. So on these you can do effects up here because they've got a key bus assigned to them. A key bus assigned to this bank. So this is ME1, ME2, and this bus being red usually means, what does red usually stand for other than stop? Hot. That's your hot bus or program bus. Anything that goes out of the switcher has to go out through program. This is your preview preset bus below it. So you preview something before you switched it on air. So that's always considered usually hot. Most big switchers will have DSK, a downstream keyer. DSK stands for downstream keyer, where you bring in somebody's name, a station bug, different graphics. So this has DSK button right here, so I can fade in the DSK. I could take that off and I could dissolve from background to foreground and still leave that graphic up there. So I can either go to my background and or I could double load. I could go from black, fade in camera one with a person's name on it, take that off, just leave DSK on, and then take their name off. This switcher has also over here your master black. So that would take everything offline if there was a dead board, nothing live at that time. Okay, so this I can cut, fade, or dissolve. With this up here, I can do more effects of wipes or keys. That's why this is called mixed effects. Beyond the basic cut, dissolve, or fade, could key or wipe up here. And we said this bank is called what? ME2. ME1. How big do switchers get? Well, they can get up to a full 4 ME mixed effects banks, where you could even key down here and wipe. Usually they're about what would be a 3.5, where you can key and wipe here, key and wipe there, another one key and wipe, but this is just usually dissolve, fade, or cut down here. So it'd be a 3.5 ME or 350 style switcher. Okay, over here I've got mix mode. With mix mode, I could do what with that? Trez? Next. 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 Fade or dissolve. And mixing. If I stop halfway through a dissolving from camera 1 to camera 4, if I stop halfway through, what have I got? Both of them on the air blended together at the same time. Referred to as a superimposition. If one has higher contrast, that part seems to stand out on top of the other. We don't usually use the super that much anymore. We usually just dissolve right on through. But I can tell it to go white mode. Once I hit white, then I come up here and pick these various patterns to white with. Circles, squares. I can also go into some of the symmetry and take a square and bring it out this way or bring it up that way. Change it. I could also put a border on there, colorize the border, make it a wider, narrower border. I could also have a soft white, which just seems to blend in like a portrait or something. Okay, so we've got this is just a bus. Two of these together would be bank. Controlled by a fader bar. Makes your transitions from one bus to another bus. Now if you notice, This bank also has yellow on here and orange. And if I cut to this, I'd get the outcome of ME1. If I put ME2 down here and did that, I would dissolve from the output of ME1 to the output of ME2. It's kind of cascading down into this. On some switchers, this one I can pick up the output of ME1 as a source and add something else with that, a wipe or key. On some switchers, you can cascade up and down. When we used to do the live sports productions for Comcast Southeast, 5.6 million homes, usually we'd leave this on ME3. Because we had ME3, 2, ME1. We did all of our basic cutting between cameras on the program versus the preview preset bus. But if we wanted to bring in the clock to say, hey, there's only 15 seconds left in this quarter, then we'd go up here, take that same, say if we're on camera 3, I'd punch camera 3 here, but I already had a clock wiped into that. So I could just cut to ME1 and I'd get that output. I could still switch up here because if I re-entered camera 1, instead of putting the source here, took the output of 3, re-entered it and add clock to it, I could just cut that in. We usually have our instant replay on ME2. A, B, X, or Y, 4 different tape decks to replay off of. So we could just cut to the output of that, already have it ready, or dissolve to it, or wipe to it. So having more banks gives you more flexibility of presets. Like I could have just camera 1 on News Anchor 1, but I could have camera 1 up here as my keyer, which I'm cutting out their background and putting a graphic in with them. I could have the weather person up here on this one, on camera number 2, and put a graphic in, and then change one graphic to another, either dissolve or wipe. So you can preset some things and go to them. This little device over here, what's it, Fritz?
I have no idea.
Joystick or positioner. So if I've got a wipe that usually comes out of the center, I can now move it over this way, up here, down there. I can move it. Make that wipe bigger or smaller, what I do? Fader bar, because I'm wiping it in, wiping it out. I can adjust it with a fader bar to come in or out, then I can position it with the joystick. Okay, so whether it's a Sony switcher, Panasonic, Echo, or Grass Valley, this is typically how they operate. Everything's got to come through the program bus to go out. And I could add additional titling on top of it with the what mode? It's going to be keyed in there. DSK. Downstream, because it's downstream on its way out. If I'm coming to a bank above program, I'm what? Upstream. If somebody says you're upstream without a paddle, and you'd be okay with a paddle. Downstream. Fully downstream would be what? Master Black. That's all the way downstream, Master Black. Between Master Black and program, what do you have? Your downstream here. This one has 1. We could cut between 2 different sources assigned to that. On some switchers, some Sony 3000s, we had 4 keyers assigned to DSK. We had 2 keyers to each bank. On the digital switcher in there, you got potentially up to 6 keyers. We've really got the 6th one tied up, so you got 5 key sources. Okay, so we've defined a bus, a row of video input sources. 2 buses equal a bank. You go from one bus to another bus on a bank, we use a fader bar. Make sure you get the right one for the right bank. 2 different modes you could be in. Typical modes for a bank is either the mix mode for fades or dissolves, or the wipe mode. When you're getting more into the effect mode, then you can also get into the what? Key. 2 types of keying.